Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We got another nap tactic for you today. The first one did so well, I figured I'd bring you another. There's a couple in the series, and there's a whole slew that you can download if you search for them. KNAP, so take a look at those. This time, it is the 442 Electric Funeral. Cool name. I figured I'd see if it works just as well as the Holy Ghost tactic that we tried before, and we'll see how it goes. So as you can see, this is another custom tiki-taka. They do have other ones out there. I've just been finding the tiki-taka ones and kind of keep going with that little trend that we've got set up. So as you can see, again, it is attacking. It is a 4-4-2. I've thrown the players in there. So we're switching things up a little bit. We have Bayern, who's scheduled to be first. We have Freiburg, who's scheduled to be right in the middle at 9th place. And then this team I've never heard of before. I'm assuming they're brand new to the Bundesliga. SPVGG Gruther First. Don't know if I pronounced that correctly, so please let me know in the comments below. But they are scheduled to be dead last in 18th place. So we're going to see how these three do and get on from there. So this is an attacking tiki-taka, custom tiki-taka. In possession, you can see fairly wide, approaching past a space, overlap on the right and left, play out of defense, much shorter, much passing direction, much higher tempo. Time wasting, why worry? Run at defense, no work the ball into the box this time, which is nice. Low crosses. In transition, you got counter press. Counter when possession has been won. Distribute to the fullbacks and then throw it long as a distribution type. Out of possession, you can see you're playing much higher. A standard defensive line, though. Using the offside trap, using tighter marking, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and get stuck in. You've got two advanced forwards, with the right having a couple more instructions. You've got two wingers, same instructions completely. Deep lying playmaker. You have a box-to-box midfielder. You got two wingbacks, differences, slightly different, and then two ball-playing defenders, same as always, and then a sweeper keeper in back. And as you can see, team fluidity is flexible, but that is the tactic in and out. Let's see how they do after a long season. So as you can see, after the full season, Bayern have come in first, 30 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, only 2 losses, so not too bad. 92 points, wow, they lost both to Borussia Dortmund. So, but 92 points is not a huge difference between them and Dortmund at 82. However, 10 points is still going to be clear winners for the champion. So they won at least a couple matches back. Now, the other two. So Freiburg lie in third with 60 points. Kind of a big difference between 92 and 60, especially 82 and 60. But lying in third are definitely well above their expectations of ninth, where Wolfsburg lie. So, apparently for Freiburg, that 4-4-2 works fairly nicely. However, you can see Gruther Firth in 13th. Now, take it for what you want. They were expected to finish 18th, so they got handily out of the relegation section. 36 points to 31-30. I won't say it did as well as Norwich did, but I mean, still, it's a place to start. So let's just move on to the player stats. As you can see, Holland and Lewandowski are still in Germany at this point in time. Holland with 44, Lewandowski with 39 goals, but Hergota at 26 is third in the league. So he really kept Gruther Firth up. I would actually love to see if Lewandowski switched places and use this tactic again, see how high they could get. But 26 is not too bad. Kimmich with an 8.24, Lewandowski with a 7.78, Kimmich with 28 assists, Sané with 13. Kimmich with 13 player of the matches. He was really lights out apparently this season. And then yellow cards, Hernandez. Ouch. But how do they stack up together? Let's go to the senior squad. You can see. So Gruther Firth, 7-3. Just absolutely annihilation. Freiburg, 8-0. Gruther Firth, 9-5. Holy crap. No wonder they had, 102 goals this season? Most of them were against these two teams. And then Freiburg again, 3-0 away from home. I mean, Bayern handily crushed everyone there. So if we look at how Freiburg did against Gruther Firth, home 3-1 win, and then away a 3-1 win. So overall, Gruther Firth definitely got crushed with all of that. Bayern just smoked right through. So obviously Bayern's so stacked anyway that I can't imagine there's too many tactics that I could throw in there. Unless you're just throwing some completely backwards tactic in there. Most tactics will get them the title, at least around there with Dortmund and all. But this is a pretty handy win. So as you can see with Bayern, they just smoked straight through the DFB Pokal. The only issues they had were 2 from Duisburg. I don't know how to pronounce that. Apologies. Another low-level team, but then Augsburg and Cologne each had 1 goal apiece. But then, I mean, overall, they did a fantastic job beating Leipzig in the final. Greuther Fürth, on the other hand, lost to Frankfurt in the 3rd round, 2-3, so not actually too bad. They did beat a couple of low-level teams to get in there, but sadly out in the 3rd round. And in the quarterfinals, by penalties, Frankfurt strike again, and 1-1 draw. Penalties just brings Frankfurt through to the semis. Unfortunately, that is where Freiburg lose out. They did beat Stuttgart handily 4-0, beat Oldenburg, another low-level team, 9-2. There's a lot of high-scoring stuff in this league. And then only beat Holstein Kiel 1-0, another low-level team, to get into the corners. But unfortunately, Frankfurt strike again, like I said, 1-1 with penalties in the quarterfinal. Now, before I get to the Champions League final, Super Cup, Borussia, sadly, lose out handily, 4-1. The venue is at home. Do they not do this at a neutral spot? That's kind of annoying. But anyway, Borussia Dortmund, Super Cup, 4-1 losers to Bayern. Bayern's just getting everything this season. Now, Champions League. This is the big one. Can they get all 4 trophies? Okay, so I had to fast forward this a few times. I thought I was well past the end of the season. Then I thought I was well past the end of the DFB Pokal final. And now I am finally past the Champions League final in the 31st of May. So now, how did Bayern do in the Champions League final? 2-1 winners over Manchester City. They did beat some teams though. So absolutely straight through the cup round. The only falter was an away game against Salzburg, 1-1. But then Sevilla 2-1. But then in the first knockout round, drew away from home. So that was a little scary, I guess, for them. Handily beating them 4-1 at home. Milan lost away, won completely handily at home, 6-2. PSG 5-1 at home, again, losing out away from home though. So it looks like they do have some issues away from home, which is a little bit of a piece for other teams to look at. Sevilla though, 2-0 win away from home. A draw to Salzburg away from home. Bruges won only 2-1 though. But then a draw to Loesch and then a loss to Milan and PSG, both away from home. They're not absolute drubbings, but still, a loss is a loss. But Manchester City, 2-1 in Champions Cup final. That is how they finish. So competition-wise, so as you can see for Bayern, Bundesliga winners, Champions Cup winners, DFB Pokal winners, and then German Super Cup winners. Absolutely clean sheet for them. So that leaves Freiburg in 3rd at 60 points, and then Greuther Fürth at 36 points. No trophies for either of them. So compared to the Holy Ghost Fire tactic that we covered a few weeks ago, this isn't quite at that level, but to the other one we covered, definitely beats it out. Knap tactics, I won't say are infallible. Knap tactic for the Holy Ghost Fire, that is the one to beat so far. That is the absolute pinnacle of a tactic so far. This one is a 4-4-2, has done some wonders. Probably depends on some of the players you've got. It is a 4-4-2 versus that DM role that you might want to use. But overall, it still brought Greuther Fürth from 18th to 13th, Freiburg from 9th to 3rd. So you can't really beat it too badly. So all in all, not too bad of a tactic to use if you need that 4-4-2. I am going to be looking at some other 4-4-2s because I really do love that type of formation. It's a very basic formation, and everyone working together can be a really nice thing. So I'm going to be looking at a couple more 4-5-1s, and we'll see if there's anything that can beat that Holy Ghost Fire tactic. But for right now, that is it. I am Sapien FM. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and enjoy.